What's good? It's Wood. This obviously isn't my regular setup. I'm in the state of Michigan, so I don't have like my whole, camera and everything else. I just want to discuss the Vergil Ortiz versus Erickson Lubin fight that I just saw just took place, and Vergil Ortiz cleaned him up within 2 rounds. Here I'm thinking this is going to be like a competitive fight. I'm like, okay, Erickson Lubin, how much is he going to push Vergil? Is he going to be able to win rounds? Is he going to be able to back Vergil up? He's been at 154 his whole career. Is he going to be able to use his reach and really control the center of the ring? Is he going to be able to stay off the ropes? And I'm really analyzing this like this is going to be like a nip and tuck type of fight, and that Vergil's going to be in for a tough test, and that you know, there's all the motivation for Erickson Lubin to win a big fight, given how you know how he's lost his most significant fights via stoppage. This fight, if Erickson Lubin would have won it, would have turned all of that around. So I thought that there was a lot of reason to think that Erickson Lubin would be bringing his absolute best, and that there's also a slight possibility that Vergil might be overlooking Lubin. Vergil Ortiz stopped Erickson Lubin in the second round, and it's not like Lubin won the first round. I thought that Vergil landed almost all of the significant shots in the first round, and I was just astounded at how much Lubin was eating that Vergil jab. Like Vergil was stepping into the jab in a way where he looked like he was almost head over skis trying to land a jab, and he was splashing Lubin with it. But as soon as I saw Lubin start doing that high guard back against the ropes, look, I did a breakdown and I was talking about how those moments and those spells of inactivity coupled with Lubin spending too much time against the ropes, how that was going to be his undoing if he fell back into that habit. Not only was he against the ropes, but if you saw that little slick move that Vergil would execute on Lubin, excuse me, Vergil would slap Lubin's high guard hand down with his left and at the same time throw the right hand. It was beautiful. And you almost don't catch it unless you're looking at the replay. David Benavidez does that a good amount too. Slap the hand down, and within like one motion, you're slapping the hand down and you're coming over the top with the right hand. He was splashing Lubin with that because the angle of that right hand was almost chopping downward when Vergil would throw it. And so I'm like, Lubin's reacting to these punches kind of weird because Vergil, again, hasn't backed up. And this is only the second round. He's got Lubin up against the rope, and you see Vergil letting his hands go to the body. He also had those moments in the first round. But once he started hooking up top, and you saw Lubin stop throwing his significant punches back, because for a while he looked like he was trying to box off the rope. And for a moment, he looked like he was having some success doing some of that boxing off the rope. But before you know it, Vergil's hooks start to go unanswered. And then you're like, is Lubin out? And it was like the third or fourth in a not a combination, but I would say it was a sequence. Vergil was going to the body, and then he started taking advantage and trying to punch around and punch through Lubin's high guard. But I think it was the third or fourth one that he threw where he did the slap the glove down, and it's like a millisecond after that slap the glove down, pop over the top with the right hand, and Lubin ate it side of the head. And you see Lubin look like his body just kind of went limp, and it was really the ropes that were holding him up. At that point, the ref was already on the way to jump in. Vergil actually sidestepped Lubin, threw a couple of punches from an angle once he noticed that Lubin was damn near unguarded, because Lubin was out on his feet. So Vergil was really about to wreck him. So thankfully, the ref jumped in and waved it off. Super disappointing outing and performance for Erickson Lubin. Extremely impressive performance for Vergil Ortiz. And excuse me, it's been a long day, and over here it's like What time is it over here? It's like 1:30 in the morning. But this, along with the Bohachuk win and the Madrimov win, there's so much momentum on Vergil's side, and stopping Erickson Lubin in the vicious way that he did. I was talking about the intensity behind Vergil's punches in my preview video. Vergil has pretty much been one of my favorite fighters since I saw him take out Mauricio Herrera in the way that he did. But first of all, I think Erickson Lubin is done competing at the highest level. Unfortunately, I feel like that ship has sailed. The question is, are we now gonna get Boots Ennis versus Vergil Ortiz? I mean, one would hope. They were face to face talking trash after the fight. But there was one thing that I was paying attention to, and it was Oscar talking about how Vergil's holding the cards. Is that code for we're going to try to make this disproportionately lopsided financially in a way where the fight's not doable and that they won't agree to it? I just hope that him, Golden Boy, and Matchroom can work this out. If not, why even do the stare down? I understand that, it could be a negotiation tactic, gamesmanship, and Oscar just doing good business by starting off from that, letting that be the precedent that he's setting, the square one, okay, but we're going to come into these negotiations. Vergil's holding all the cards after that impressive Vergil performance. So I get what he's doing there. I just hope that it doesn't lead to the fight not being made, bottom line. If they make the fight, I don't care what's said. I just want them to make this fight. And I don't think that it needs to marinate any longer. And if we're evaluating the fight, I don't think I would be surprised by any outcome. Like if Boots had an extraordinary performance and ends up stopping Vergil, clipping him, and then just shutting him down, I would be surprised and shocked as I'm watching it. But that outcome shouldn't surprise anyone. Vergil has been hurt, and we know that Boots has excellent tools. We just haven't seen him, aside from the Stanionis fight, try to exercise that against some of the best fighters. Vergil is more proven at this point. Now, if Vergil goes in there, look, I would be surprised if Vergil goes in there and wipes Boots out in a fashion similar to how he wiped out Erickson Lubin. Like if Vergil stopped Boots within 5 to 7 rounds, I would be floored. I would be very surprised. Now, if he stops Boots like in rounds 8 through 11, that's more like it. That's more the realistic scenario. But again, I just want to see this fight made. And it's just crazy that there probably won't be a title on the line. And by the way, it looks like Xander Zayas is angling for that Abbas Barao in January. So Xander Zayas, who hasn't really beaten anyone of note, is about to potentially be a unified 2-belt champion in the same division where Boots and Vergil will have none, at least at the time of this, at the time that it would have gone down. Look, props to his handlers for being able to work that out. I just want Boots versus Vergil in the first couple, 2-3 months of 2026. That would be one of the most exciting fights on the boxing calendar if they put that together. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Vergil versus Lubin. Again, I thought we were going to get a competitive fight for at least a few rounds, but Vergil knocked him out. Really knocked him out. And it just makes you wonder, what the hell was the game plan? And I was wondering, oh, shoot, is Lubin in trouble? And I was thinking that as early as that first significant jab that Vergil landed, it had me really wondering if Lubin had anything for Vergil in that ring on that night, tonight. And it turns out he didn't. I don't know if things were going to shape up in the third or fourth round. You know, Lubin is a pretty slow starter. He started slow against Jesus Ramos. Um, he obviously got knocked out in the first round against Jermell Charlo, but he also started pretty slow in his last fight against Adriel Holmes Jr. Started off pretty slow. And I was just thinking, you can't do that against somebody as ferocious and whose punches are as intense as Vergil Ortiz Jr.'s. But, I mean, here we are. We're talking about a second round knockout now. So, yeah, Vergil shined. He shined, nothing less. Let me know your thoughts on Vergil versus Lubin in the comments. And do you think Vergil versus Boots is next? And how do you see that one shaping up? Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.